So what do I need to do then? I need to factor each denominator. So I factor 2x, and there's not a whole lot to it besides 2x. And I like to write those down just so I have them. And I factor 20x plus 16. Greatest common factor is 4. And that leaves me with 4 times, I hope, 5x plus 4. So what's my common denominator then? Well, it's got a 2 in it. It's got an x in it. This 4 could be broken down into 2 times 2. And I've already written down one of those 2's. But I do need another 2. And then I'm left with, I need everything that's in that parentheses. So my common denominator then is 4x times 5x plus 4. All right, so now that we have the common denominator, the next thing that we need to do is rewrite them so that the common denominator is there for both of the problems. Okay, so this 2x needs to be a 4x times 5x plus 4. What do I have to multiply 2x by to get this? Well, it's already got a 2, it's already got an x. So I need to pick up this much. So I'm going to multiply the top by 2 times 5x plus 4, because I have to multiply the bottom times 2 times 5x plus 4. And sorry, I should have left a little bit more room there, but I didn't. I forgot. Okay, so this then becomes 7x times 2 times 5x plus 4, because the bottom becomes 4x times 5x plus 4. And now I've got that subtract. And now I need to work with the second fraction. The second fraction was this when I factored it. And I need a common denominator of this. So what's the difference between what's here and what I need? There's that x. So I need to multiply that by an extra x. So then that would be x times x minus 2. And that's what it's going to take to give me 4x times 5x plus 4 down here. Okay, so we're done with rewriting it so that it has a common denominator. Now we need to go ahead and simplify it and add or subtract if we can. So let's go ahead and do some multiplication here. 7 times 2 times 5 is 70. X times x, 70x squared. And then 7 times 2 times 4 is 56. And there's an x on that. And some of you are going to say, don't I have to, I multiplied the 7 and the 2 together and got 14, and then multiplied it times 5, and then 14 times 4, and got this answer. And then over here I've got a negative x times x, which would be minus x squared, and a negative x times negative 2, which would be plus 2x. I still have my common denominator. Still working on this part where I'm just trying to combine the like terms here so I can see if I can get something over the common denominator. Okay, so combine like terms. I get 69x squared plus 58x over my common denominator of 5x plus 4. And the last thing I have to do is simplify if possible. The only way I'm going to be able to simplify that is if I can find something in there that I can cross off with this. Well, it's possible, 4 is not going to work with that 69, but it is possible for me to come up with an x as a greatest common factor. So let me go ahead and do that. And now I can actually mark those x's out. So my final answer is going to be 69x plus 58 over 4 times 5x plus 4. Okay, let's try another one then. How about number 19? This is the second page of that same worksheet. Number 19. And again, I'm not looking at the top of the fraction, even though they are the same. The first thing for me to worry about is whether or not I have a common denominator. So, common denominator, no, I don't have it. So, what am I going to get for a common denominator then? I'm going to take x plus 3 and I'm going to factor it. It doesn't factor, except for x for a greatest common factor of 1. Same thing happens with x plus 6. So what is my common denominator then? Well, it has an x plus 3 in it. And it also has an x plus 6 in it. And there isn't anything that they share. So my common denominator turns into just the two of them multiplied together. So what do I need to do then? Well, I need to turn this common denominator that had an x plus 3 there, and I need to pick up an extra x plus 6. Whatever you do on the bottom, you have to do on the top. What about the second fraction? Well, the second fraction has an x plus 6 in it, but it doesn't have an x plus 3 in it. So, whatever I put on the bottom, I have to put on the top. Okay, so I've turned it into the common denominator. Now I need to go ahead and see what I can do to combine like terms on the top of the fraction. 4x squared plus 24x minus 4x squared minus 12x over my common denominator of x plus 3, x plus 6. And what am I left with then? I'm left with just 12x over x plus 3 and x plus 6. Now, can I mark this x out with that x? No, I can't. This one has an add or subtract sign. This one does not. So I cannot touch that x without touching that 3. So I'm done. And then the last one comes from number 22. Number 22. Doesn't it look fun? Number 22. So I'm going to write that as v minus 2. And let's see. Wow. That gives me 3v to the 4th minus 15v to the 3rd minus 18v squared plus 3v. And again, I'm going to write that as 3 over 1. So we need a common denominator. Do we have one? No, we don't. So I need to factor it, but in this case, I know that the problem has a 1 on the bottom. So no matter what it is, the only thing that they share is that 1. So rather than factoring this all out, which I really technically should do, but because there's nothing down there besides a 1, I can just go ahead and multiply this times this fraction. This is not going to change, so I'm left with v minus 2 over what we're going to call our common denominator. I'm going to multiply the bottom of this times 3v to the 4th minus 15v cubed minus 18v squared. Whatever I multiply on the bottom, I have to multiply on the top. Long problem, no, not long, big. So then we've got on the top, then we've got v minus 2 plus, use your distributive property, 9v to the 5th minus 45v to the 4th minus, what is that, 48v to the 3rd over 3v to the 4th minus 15v cubed minus 18v squared. And so now I'm left with simplify the problem. Well, the only way I can simplify it is if I can get this to factor with the greatest common factor, and that too doesn't have anything that's going to share, so I'm done. This can be complicated. I'm going to give you a couple of extra videos for you to look at for adding and subtracting fractions. If you have any questions, make sure you ask.